Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, you're listening to Crypto Street Podcast. This is Crypto Dale back as ever. Took a little hiatus from Crypto Twitter with the handle Crypto Dale. Was in the clink. Don't ask questions. Don't want to talk about it. Bad memories. Bad memories. Let's not bring it up. But I'm back. My mom picked me up. I don't know. A couple hours ago from the clink. I'm in her basement. We're doing a podcast. We're live.
Cheetos.
I'm eating all the kinds of food, and we'll just go for walks, right? Just don't have that freedom. Joined as always by my two homies, my main homie Killer, and then my side homie Prince.
Nice. Hey man,
I'm the main
my
homie.
side piece.
I guess I'm just a piece of house.
We just use you for your hockey skills.
Yeah.
The faster you realize that, the better. How are we doing tonight, boys?
I mean, how is anybody doing tonight? We're recording this on Monday.
Yeah.
Not to be like, I know people hate it when we're like Debbie Downer, and so we're not gonna like be mopey the whole episode, but it sucks. It's crypto is very unfortunate right now. I will say, one little hobby we've picked up in this ugliness is just finally dumping some of the absolute shit coins we accumulated and just like murdering order books, just like market sell them all. I don't even care.
Which is probably like an indicator that the bottom is probably close, because now finally getting to that stage where it's like, yeah, just screw it, right? Like just destroy an order book. So yeah, maybe the bottom's close, right? Who knows?
I think I just have I'm not even gonna say this. Never mind. Prince, how you doing?
I'm living the dream, buddy. I'm living the dream. Bitcoin got murdered today. There's a baby crying in the background.
You can hear it. Fuck. I was hoping you couldn't hear it. That'd be my son,
what?
Boys.
It's pretty fitting though, because that's how I think a lot of people feel right now.
Yeah, pretty much, right?
Just meowing. Yeah, just like feral cat sounds. We lost the ability to communicate. We're just making pain noises at this point.
Well, let's get into it.
Prince, hold on real quick. Prince, give us a weather update.
Oh, a weather update. It was nice out today. Snow is melting again.
Nice.
It's probably going to be real nice out for the next week or so, and then be back to blizzarding. Just stay ready, folks. Stay ready. If you're out here, stay ready. You got your winter parkas, you got your flip-flops, your shorts. You got it all. You got to be ready.
Oh, man, I tell you what. You just pumped me up for some Canada weather.
Over and out.
All right. We're having a first tonight, so if you're listening, if you're one of the 17 listening right now, that's live, or you're one of the listening when this comes out, thank you very much. We appreciate that. But what we have tonight is we have a Crypto Street Podcast first, and I am really, really going to try my damnedest to not have full chub this whole episode, because when we were talking beforehand with our guest, Bandit, it's at Big Crypto Bandit on Twitter. He's got this Australian accent that, ooh, boy, wow.
Makes you melt.
Bandit, you literally just grab a hold of my heart. So let's reveal it to everybody.
Yeah, g'day, mates. How are you?
Now that we're all super uncomfortable.
Yeah. Okay, sorry. I probably went a little too far. Let's edit that out. But
what's going on, boys? How are we? We all good?
So thanks for joining us tonight. How we kind of start out things typically. First time being on. Let's get a little background on you, how you got into trading, what brought you to crypto, all the good stuff like that.
Yeah, right. Good stuff. So I started my illustrious career in crypto and trading it was probably late 2016. So right towards the end of 2016 there. I've always had a job in sales and that sort of stuff. So in sales, obviously, most of your, like 80% of your commission, sometimes even 90% of your commission, depending on what you're doing, of your income is commission. Sorry. And when when you start earning that sort of money, in terms of when you're in control of your own money and you're earning commission, like you just get addicted to it. You're just looking for different ways to make money all the time. And I used to use like Bitcoin back in, like basically Silk Road days, illegal shit, that sort of stuff. Like back then, like I was quite young, like I didn't really give a shit about finance or anything like that, and so it didn't really occur to me that it'd be any sort of investment vehicle or anything like that. So I actually was introduced to Bitcoin quite early on, but it wasn't until like 2016 when I was looking around. I was looking at delving into the, stocks and that sort of stuff as a completely green thumb, investor. That I looked at Bitcoin, and I think at that stage it was like, it was like 800, I think, around about there, $800, $900, something like that.
Yeah, sounds like you got it around like when me and Killer did, and so it was like that $500, $800 range kind of thing.
Yeah, around about there, sub a grand. But like for me, that was like, using Bitcoin when it was like $120, like that sort of shit. I was like, holy fuck, like what's going on here? So I was like, okay, well this sounds good. So I actually originally, because I thought at that price, I was like, oh fuck, it's too late for Bitcoin. So I was looking around at altcoins, and so I actually started out on Poloniex with I used this fucking app on my phone called Z Trader. I don't know.
Yeah, I know what you.
Yeah. So I used that. It was like an API thing with Poloniex, and like I remember, like I started off chucking like $50 at it, and like just spread my shit around, and I don't know, like it was just interesting to watch it, and stuff started going up and that sort of thing, and then I can't remember. I think, I don't know, it might have been Facebook or something. I'm not too sure, but I somehow found out about BitMEX because like I was like looking for, I was looking for ways to make more money, and I was like, this is too slow. Like, what the fuck is this? Yeah. And then I found BitMEX somehow, and then got pretty involved with the BitMEX troll box more than anything else. And basically the whole time from like, the start of 2017, like I didn't capture any gains whatsoever. It was just fucking just ridiculous. And pretty much like the whole 2017 bull run for alts, like that whole fucking thing, I missed out on because I was too busy being a fucking degenerate on BitMEX. So that was great. Long story short, I blew up a few accounts, like, paid my dues, baptized in fire, however you want to call it, through 2017 until I think probably it was towards like, I don't know, like last quarter of 2017. Mm-hmm. I came to like a crossroads where got tilted that hard that I blew up enough money where I was like, okay, like either I just quit this and put it behind me and whatever, or like I actually like because I knew there was opportunity here to make money, so I was either walk away or really knuckle down and actually learn the markets and that sort of stuff. So what I did was I took my last amount of money, and by the way, the whole time like I'm just feeding this fucking liquidation machine with money. So like I'd used quite a lot of money up, but I did have like a bit left over. So I chucked it all into Litecoin, and this is like, I think for me it was like $45 Australian, I think, at that stage. So it was pretty low. Yeah. And managed to cop that whole run up to like $300 US on Litecoin. So that was cool. But obviously that whole time, like I was learning how to chart properly and that sort of stuff. And you always start out with patterns and that sort of crap, but getting a good understanding on how shit works basically. So, and then, so 2017, right at the end there, that last sort of, November, December sort of run, I flipped a few really good trades, that sort of stuff. So I managed to build up quite a good kitty basically. Yeah. And thankfully, I needed at the time, because as you heard before, with my small boy who was just screaming, my missus, my fiance, she fell pregnant quite a bit earlier than I think. Yeah, it was 9 months ago from May. So she was pregnant basically, and we needed to buy a house. So I actually managed to get out quite a lot at the top, basically.
Nice.
Simply just because I had to put down a deposit for a house. So I managed to get quite a lot out, which was good. Just pure fucking luck.
It worked out, yeah.
Yeah. So that was sort of the start of 2018 for me. Like, just had to take a lot out, and then because I really kind of wanted to just delve into it full time as well. Like I was like, fuck this. Like, I've got enough here. I can just trade my way. Like, I can just I can quit my job. And then I was like, probably not the best idea. So thank fuck I didn't do that, because I'd be wrecked for life right now. Wouldn't be great. And then pretty much like the whole start of this year. I mean, like I just don't know what it was. The bear market, the whole way down. I was just trading better and better and better and better. I think we're really lucky, in this day and age, that a lot of, like, you see a lot of traders coming out on crypto Twitter and just in the discords and that get good quick. And it's just because
there's some talent out there.
And it's just simply because the amount of resources we have, like, compared to you look at traders who have been in the markets for 40, 50 years. Back when they had to learn their way through it, it would have been a slow process. These days, I mean, we've got umpteens amount of webinars and guides and that sort of stuff, and it's really just a matter of putting away the gambling emotions and that sort of stuff, and actually really wanting to get stuck into it. And that's pretty much what I did. And then this whole year, I mean, I'm pretty much up. Like, my portfolio is not down at all the whole year, so it's been a pretty good year, actually, to be honest.
Okay, man.
So,
nice.
Yeah, that's great.
That's what I'm talking about. There we go. That's a talent, man. Being able to ride a bear market, like, that is a talent. So, like, kudos, man, because most people just be blowing up all their portfolios, right? So to be able to say, hey, man, like, I'm not blowing up, and I'm actually in the green, and I'm doing pretty well, like, fuck, man. Nice.
Yeah, it's funny enough, so Litecoin was easily my biggest trade in terms of, like, the copping that whole Litecoin run at the end of last year. That was easily my biggest trade. But then my best trade this year was shorting Litecoin from, like, the fucking top.
The minute Charlie tweeted.
It was like fucking polar opposites. Like, Litecoin's done me well. I think every time that Litecoin makes a new low, I retweet that chart just for lols. So that's me, boys. Pretty much. It's been a pretty fun ride so far. These, like, now, obviously, I'm looking like I'm trading Forex more than even crypto right now, just because once you learn market structure and you learn to read price action, that sort of stuff, Forex is just so clean. Like, it's just so much.
You found it to be a fairly easy transition into the Forex game.
Yeah, it was. It took me a good couple of weeks, like, just because I was so used to how Bitcoin moved. And that's the thing. Like, even though price action is price action, like, every pair that you trade has its own sort of, like, it's almost got its own personality. So it was a weird transition at first, but I mean, you just kind of stick with a couple of different pairs and just get a feel for them, and away you go. So
it's very interesting, because, like, I think traditionally people say that Forex markets are among the toughest to trade. I have not done it personally, so I'm not really good to comment on that, but that seems to be the prevailing wisdom, is those are some of the toughest markets. And I think crypto is still a fairly underdeveloped market. So I find it very interesting that you've and maybe it just meshes with your trading style more in some regard.
Yeah, I think if you're not, you have to be like with Bitcoin, right? You can be safe knowing, well, at least, when we're not fucking ranging in 6K, 6.4K for fucking ever, you can be pretty safe to know if you put a decent stop, then Bitcoin is generally going to it's going to dildo sometime. So you can generally, you don't really have to worry too much about putting take profits and that sort of stuff. You can just pretty much just put in a decent size stop and then just let it blow up, and then you're in profit basically. And I think that's where a lot of people sort of they get safe knowing that Bitcoin will move. If it goes in their direction, it's gonna fucking go. Whereas Forex, like if you don't put in a good take profit, if it goes to your target and you haven't taken profit, it can turn around on you really, really quickly. And it's I think that's where the difference is that Forex markets seem to trap traders a lot more, with people that aren't actually doing the right side of things in terms of risk management and that sort of stuff. So that's all it is really, I think.
Hey Bandit, you kind of talked about how you were used to feed the liquidation machine, and then you really turned it around and made some profits. What steps did you do to transition from the liquidated machine feeder to utilizing some profits?
So I think like the biggest part of it, I think, is the emotional side. And I was quite lucky because in the sales industry, you can go 3 days, 4 days without doing a deal in whatever product you're selling, and those days you're not making any money because you haven't sold anything. So I was quite lucky in that the industry I was in, I was pretty used to having days where I wouldn't make any money, and then some days where I would make my month's income in one day. Like it was it's very, very up and down like that. So for me, it was just a matter of understanding that was a big part of where I was going wrong, was revenge trading and getting sucked into the emotional side of it. But what really helped me on that side was understanding position sizing and risk reward ratio and that sort of stuff, because I think where a lot of people fall down as well is they go, risk management is so important, risk management is key, that sort of thing, but they take risk management as far as don't FOMO and put a stop loss. And they don't really understand how deep that goes and how you can, you should really be structuring your trades in terms of position sizing and that sort of stuff. Even like when I did start recognizing that it was an emotional thing, I had an issue with position sizing, because I would really switch around how much I would put down on a trade, in terms of like, if I had like a really, really strong conviction in a trade, I would go like fucking heavy in on that trade. And then when I got stopped out, I would lose shitloads more than I probably should have, because in the end, I mean, even if you've got, heaps of confidence in one trade, it's still, it's still a high chance it's going to go the other way. It's just, it is what it is. And then obviously like trades where I wasn't confident in, I wouldn't put enough down, and then it would go, and then I'd be like, well, fuck, like if I would, if I went full clip on that trade, it would have been, in the money real well. So when you learn about, and Crypto Cred obviously has a really good article on it. That's where I sort of learnt about it, is, basically just position sizing on a percentage of your portfolio, that sort of thing, basically. And just, keeping your risk, pretty steady in terms of how much you're putting down each trade and that sort of thing, and just sticking to it. And doesn't matter how good the trade looks, or if it looks fucking amazing, then just stick to your 2%, your 3%, and that way you're not, because if you've got a hit rate of say 50%, like if you're really good and you've got a hit rate of 50%, but you're putting down too much when you're overconfident, and then you're losing that, your 50% hit rate is probably going to end up in the negative, because your R is out of whack. You know what I mean? If you keep your risk on point, then you don't even need a really strong hit rate to make money, because your risk is balancing that out. So that whole concept there really changed it around for me, actually. So yeah, definitely something I would recommend to newbies to look at and understand entirely before they start.
It's huge.
Putting big stacks down. Yeah,
it's huge. Like, because I think, and that you mentioned it, and it's so damn true. Is like you get a lot of people and they want to emphasize risk management, but it's very basic of what they're really recommending, and a lot of people they completely ignore position sizing, and that's where even from my experiences, it's when you start ignoring your position sizing that stuff usually just goes really wrong really quickly, right? So
yeah, 100%. And then you can go further into like evolving R and that sort of stuff, which Trader Nandy goes into pretty well. But yeah, it gets pretty deep.
It's an art. It
is 100%. Yeah, it is an art.
So Bandit, with all this in mind, what are you thinking about the current price action as we record this? Bitcoin's hovering around, I think, 47 or 4,800. Obviously, a quick drop from 6,400 just a few days ago. What are your thoughts and feelings on this as somebody who's handled this market better than a lot of people, I would say?
It's fucking amazing. I'll tell you that. It's been a good couple of days. I actually haven't traded at that.
I was gonna say you better bite your tongue.
I haven't actually traded this move down really until I hedged 30% of my whole stack into Tether, around 5,500, I think it was. But other than that, I haven't actually traded this move down when we broke through 6K, just because I haven't seen anything really worth trading. But just just overall, we haven't seen this sort of movement in Bitcoin in fucking ages. I mean, you look at the size of that move compared to, I think the last move like that really was probably July. That move up to 8.5K like that.
Finally we got some life. We got some action. That's like
exactly. And I mean, you can everyone on Twitter's not calling the bottom, but they're
everyone wants to go out there and try to get some clout.
But as in everyone's sort of buying it all the way down, that sort of thing. And for me at the moment, there's just nothing. There's nothing clear for me to trade. Like I'm not gonna go and try and scalp the 15-minute or something like that. I mean, if we look at it now, really, it does look pretty good on the low time frames. It's rounding off pretty well, but it's just not worth it for me. Like I've scaled out 50% of my hedge, so I sold off 50% of my hedge after we broke 5K, because I mean, if you're not buying below 5K, Jesus Christ, when are you going to buy it? So buy a bit more, but overall, the only real trade that I would take is if we go back up to sort of where we broke out. Say 5,800, that sort of thing, which that daily block, I think there's a lot of people looking at that because that's the next real big resistance. The only real trade that I can see that would be worth taking is if we don't break through that, and that gets rejected pretty hard and it's a clear resistance, then obviously we've got a whole lot more downside to come in my eyes. If not, if we break above 6150, around about that area, then that's a pretty big signal to go bid. But other than that, really, until there is some some price action developing down this area, I just don't see any immediate trades really. The only people right now that really should honestly be trading, trading this move, is position traders, people who are putting in for the long run. If you're trying to day trade this shit, you're a surefire way to get fucking wrecked.
That's where I'm actually and I'm in that boat of that whole position trade thing where I've been, it's been a long time. I tweeted about it. It's been so long since I've tried, thought about, okay, it's time to put cash back into the market. But today was a day where it was okay, it's time to figure out how am I getting cash back into this market, because the exchange I use obviously is just in shambles right now. So I got a little adventure on my hands, but
which exchange is that?
Quadriga. They got
okay.
they got about like $26 million client customer funds frozen in the courts right now. It's like
Jesus.
Yeah, so it's just steer clear of them. To any Canadians listening, just there's not even a point in using them. So
what was I looking at the other day? I think it was a few weeks ago. I was looking at Wex, that Wex exchange, and like I had it like I think I'd seen Wex before, but I never actually looked at it. And I was just looking at it, and I was like, what the fuck is going on here? Like USD, like the Tether Bitcoin pair was like I think at that stage it was like 1,500 like USDT to Bitcoin. I was like, why the fuck are people not arbing the shit out of this? Like, what is going on here? And then literally like 5 minutes later, I saw Loomdart post up a tweet saying like how sad it would be for people in Wex who can't get their money out. It's like, there you go.
That's the thing about crypto, right? When it literally like you can pretty much guarantee if it seems like it's just too good of an opportunity, there's literally an issue with it. Like
100%. Yeah, pretty much at the moment as well. Like I think I replied to a tweet on Crypto Dog's status or something like that. Alts look fucking good right now. Like, to be completely honest, like considering that Bitcoin dumped, a good $1,000 in a day, and alts are performing the way they are. And I think it's really just a matter of like there is just nobody selling alts because they've already fucking sold, and the only people that are, there's probably just not enough volume to sell it off any further at the moment. That's probably what's happening. But they look fucking good. Like, to be completely honest with you, I'm pretty bullish on alts right now. So yeah, obviously Ripskis, big Ripple Ripskis.
Ripple's leading the charge.
Ripskis.
God, it's fucking nuts.
I couldn't believe
now.
There's a few others as well. Stella.
No, I
pretty well.
Bandit, I do agree with you. I think a lot of the alts, I think a part of the reason a lot of them look so good is because they are literally like, one I'm pretty bullish on and have been for a while is Ardor. It's at its lowest that it's been since like March of 17. So really pre that big bull run, you're kind of seeing some things, in my opinion, of 2017 bull run, kind of at the value of that. So if these things aren't complete shit coins and deserve to go to zero, then, it might not be a bad time to get into something and hold it for a while.
And I think that's what we'll probably see here is, I think there'll be some coins that just fucking will not recover from this.
Yep.
If they're not holding up now, then I don't see them. Like Icon, like ICX, if you look at that is fucked.
Oh, that is just total wrecked.
That's a ridiculous chart, yeah.
What's Litcoin?
Litcoin.
There we go. What is
are you memeing on Litecoin, or is that actually a coin?
What is it?
That's Prince.
Oh, I always call it Litcoin. It's either Litcoin, Litrock. That's it. Those are the only two things.
Litrock, yeah.
The one coin I hope goes to absolute zero is Linda Coin. There's like
I don't know if I've ever. Oh, I have.
I've heard some stories about them. Which
do yourself a favor and go on YouTube and go Linda Coin. And then there's just this fucking huge fat dude who just shills the shit out of it. Flat out. Oh man,
I've heard some stories about him.
Should I watch that before the AFL Grand Final or after?
Probably after. You need to cool off from that.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah,
Linda
I mean, the thing is though, like a lot of alt charts have looked really good for quite some time, and we are seeing sporadic pumps on some of them, but it's by no means anything close to like an alt season. I think people are still very quick to call that.
100% right. I mean, you still want confirmation of any sort of bull run whatsoever, up move, whatever you want to call it. But I mean, if you have a look at a lot of them, there's big wicks into these support, previous resistance term of support on a lot of these alts, like even high caps. I mean, if you look at Monero, doesn't actually look that bad. Like a few good wicks into support. If it holds, it'll probably range for a bit. So yeah, it's just a matter of waiting for that confirmation, really. I mean, you don't want to be going all in on alts just yet at all.
No, by no means.
Yeah. So,
but like back to, not to pump my own bags here, but like Ardor, I bought some more when it was sub 17 or 1600 Satoshis the other week, and I was, talking with some other people, and they're like, man, that's crazy entry, blah blah blah, and today it's at 1200 or 1280 Satoshi. So that just kind of goes to say, just be careful. There's always room for more dumpage.
Well, I mean, just look at what happened with Sen. Like, I hate to bring this
up,
but like when we got into Sen, guys, like, for anybody who doesn't know, like, it was at like a third of the ICO price, and we're like, how much lower could it possibly go? This was like 4 months ago. And it's down literally like 80% from then. And it was a third of the ICO price at that point. And like, I think this is something I definitely did wrong, is like, I underestimated, logically that something can go down 50%, and then an additional 50% after that. But when you actually see that happen to your own assets, it's like, I didn't think I really grasped how likely that was and how ugly and painful it would be if it did come.
So it's a jaw dropper.
Yeah, totally.
It's pretty rough.
Bandit, I wanted to ask you about something. I don't think we've gotten a chance to talk about this yet on the podcast, but a few days ago, I think maybe it was even like a week ago, the SEC came out with enforcement actions on Paragon, and there was another coin that the name is slipping me right now. But two ICOs that were conducted in 2017, they were basically slapped with fines, I think $250,000. And they were forced to offer a refund to participants who may be underwater. What are your thoughts on that? Did you see that story?
Yeah, I did see it. I'm not like too clued up on the whole like legal side of things, especially being in Australia as well, on the US side of things. But I mean, really, you had to see that shit sort of coming. I mean, they're not gonna, you know what I mean? Like they're not gonna sit back and just let these pseudo companies just take millions of dollars off off normal people and just get away with it. I mean, it was always going to happen, in my opinion. It was just a matter of when, and I think it's just going to get, well, I don't know if it'll get any worse than like what they're doing in terms of like what we all think is a slap on the wrist at the moment in terms of how they're punishing these ICOs and that sort of thing. But there's definitely going to be a lot more cases of it. But I think at the same time, I mean, I can't even remember when the last like real massive ICO was. Like they've just scaled back heaps, and I think we're just going to see less and less. There'll be another avenue that they'll take. Obviously, I think these security tokens, I think that's probably going to be the next big thing in terms of what all these projects are going to be using as a way to garner funds and that sort of stuff. But the good thing about the SEC, intervening with all this is that it's just going to weed out a lot of the projects that are just complete fucking shit. You're still going to get, and not only that, but I think there's also going to be a lot more projects that will be launched, proof of work projects and that sort of stuff that are going to be launched, with a bit more integrity in terms of without any sort of like crowdfunding or anything like that. It's just going to be very natural and that sort of stuff, much like the way that Bitcoin essentially started. So I think that's also pretty good, especially for the mining industry and that sort of thing as well. I think a lot of miners are going to like that. So yeah, I think overall it's a good thing. Definitely, in my opinion, but I'm not too clued up on the whole legal side of things and in terms of that. But
I was not at all surprised that it happened. What I was really, really surprised about is how light the penalty was. I mean,
slap on the wrist.
Paragon, they raised $12 million and they got fined $250K, and now they're free and clear to operate as usual. I mean, I think a certain part of that 12 million is going to come back from refunds if people are underwater on it, which I think almost everybody is. I want to say it's down like 95% since the ICO. But even if they keep like 1 million out of the 12, let's be very generous and say that 11 million of it gets refunded. They keep 1 million, they get fined 250. It's still a win for that organization. I mean, they're not facing any lasting sanctions that are going to hamper their business. And I think a lot of these 2017 ICOs, I mean, we all knew like they were securities, you know, and they were like kind of, this is a utility token, yada, yada, yada. It's like, all right, pal. But I mean, I think they got in just soon enough to where they had some plausible deniability with the government because we know these things, the rules around crypto have been super vague for a long time, and they still are. And I think they kind of just skated out, but we're not going to see that sort of thing like 2017, where you know anybody could hold an ICO and you're raising like 20 to 30 million minimum. But again, I was surprised at how light it was. I don't think the punishment was that harsh at all.
Did you guys see it, that Paragon pumping the day that the SEC came out and said that? And I think it was Colin Crypto tweeted out that said he, you know, a good reason for or a good suggestion that it's pumping is because of people buying it so that they could say, hey, we're underwater, refund our money.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if some people tried to pull that shit because
it wouldn't surprise me.
This
in
is
the
crypto.
Least.
They'll try anything, right? There's
did you see
animals out here?
Well, one of the head guys at Paragon tweeted, and he's like, this is a great win for us here. We're going to continue the journey. I'm like, bro, you still got sanctions. It's not really a win. Like, it's not a big loss by any means, but. I mean, well, you know what? It is a win, but you don't go on Twitter like saying that when you get a like.
Yeah,
it just seems like a weird optic move.
Yeah.
I think like there's other punishments that they can enforce though. Like, I mean, they can ban people from, you know, in like being, you know, I think they can ban people from like trading and investing and that sort of stuff. Like they can take that away from people, can't they? So like, I mean, in terms of fines and that sort of stuff, they can generally take people away from even that industry, I suppose, can't they? I mean, I don't really know how that shit works, but yeah, I assume that they can do something like that. But yeah, no, I agree. The fine is that's pretty fucking light. Yeah, interesting stuff. The only thing I'm scared of is like if all these people who are fucking underwater and it's real close to getting shaken out of the market get all their fucking money back. Then all of a sudden, you know, everyone that should have been fucking pushed out is back in. Yeah. And then we you know, we'll start from the top again. Yeah, that'd be fucking shit. But.
All right, Bandit. That kind of covers everything that we had written, jotted down to kind of cover with you. Do you have any final parting words or anything you'd like to touch on quick?
Nah, not really. It's been fun. Been a good chat, boys.
Thank you, man. Thank you. It was awesome.
We'll get your plaque sent in the mail for first Australian, first Aussie.
First Aussie. I beat Bitlord to crypto. Crypto Street.
Yeah,
that's pretty good.
It's quite the title to hold.
An underdog story.
That's exactly. We'll feature in the Crypto Dale 30 for 30.
Nice.
Nice. I saw on Twitter.
What if I told?
What if I told
99% of shitcoins are going to zero?
I do want to say big welcome back to the original Crypto Dale.
Thanks.
I don't know who that fucking scam artist imposter was jumping around the place.
I don't either. Freaking jokester. But I will say, you know, I was pretty overwhelmed today with everyone giving me a shout out. It's pretty cool to see. So, you know, a bunch of fake made up internet people are actually pretty cool people. So Prince, one question from the chat. I don't know, are you in the chat?
No, I'm not. Who's going on?
Who's
don't be so excited, Prince.
Takashi 69.
What? Who wants to know this? What is with this question? I've seen this question in here a few times. You know, guy thinks I don't answer it the first time. He's just gonna keep asking me. I'm ignoring it for a reason.
What's the question?
Takashi 69. I don't like what I've heard like maybe one.
First of all, hold on. It's Takashi 69. I think.
69.
I'm not really too up on the new age rappers, but I think it is 69.
He looks like he's in a circus.
Pretty sure he's a fucking. Isn't he? I'm pretty sure he's a pedophile. That kid, isn't he? Then
I don't know.
Yeah, sleep with a 13-year-old girl or some shit and get charged for it.
Like he's just out of control. And then apparently there's rumors that 50 Cent is his dad, and it's like, so you know, I don't know. It's just his life is a circus. He looks like he's in a circus. I'm just, you know what? I'm not really. I don't know. Don't ask me this question. Come on.
I don't know a thing, because here I am technically a boomer, although I have been granted eternal youth from Reptar. So, you know, take that for what it is. But I have never heard of this person, nor will I ever check out any of his music. So this wraps everything up. Crypto Street Podcast with the man, the myth, the legend, Bandit. You can find him on Twitter at Big Crypto Bandit. That's BANDIT. Check him out. Dude's legit. First Aussie ever on. Tip your waitress. Hootskis for the boys. Dale Killer Prince out. Thanks for listening.
Australian football is the greatest sport on earth.
Boo.